Hi, I'm Caroline Ryder of Ryder Horsemanship, and this is Gracie. So we are going to address a question from Chloe, and she has a couple of questions actually, and one of them is about leading. It's a little different. Her horse actually gets his feet planted and stuck, and he doesn't want to move, and that transfers over into her partner walking, her sending, and her lunging. It's really hard to get her horse to move. So I think leading is a great exercise to work on, as well as the sending exercise, and both of those together will help you in your partner walking and in your lunging, especially for horses that are more dull, desensitized, dominant, stubborn. And I have to be careful when I say dull and desensitized, because sometimes some horses, we create that. It's not their nature, where stubborn and dominant is more of a horse's nature. So I want to be careful with that distinction, that just because a horse might be dull and seem really desensitized, most of the time that's been created through prior training. So I take that back, but however, it kind of crosses over into the stubborn. So let's just be careful with that. Anyway, let's start with the leading. Again, I'm going to use rhythmic pressure, maybe tap on her because she can't see directly in front of her. So I'm going to tap on her and do the side over here with the whip and this right here just to keep her straight because she was coming up behind my back. So I just rhythmically use the crop. Now, had she gotten scared and wanted to run that way, then I would have shortened up my rope. So this hand is in direct contact with her rope, so it's the guiding hand. And anything else over here in this hand is the reinforcing hand, the hand that also supports the direct, like a direct rein in an indirect rein when you ride. So right now Gracie's at a great distance. So I like these little carriage whips because they're not too long and cumbersome. They're very light and they're longer than a dressage whip. And what the purpose of this is, I want to be able to get back behind her drive line. So anything, wherever the middle of their withers are, anything in front of the withers to their nose, any pressure in the front drives them backwards or drives them to the side at the shoulder. Anything behind the withers drives them forward. So if I'm leading and I'm asking my horse to come forward and I'm walking and they don't want to move, then I'm actually going to shorten my rope a little bit, get maybe 2 feet instead of 3 or 4, and I'm going to come back here and tap the hiney. Now we have partner walking. So now I'm actually in a position by her rib cage where my leg would go to ride, back behind her withers to drive her forward. Anything behind the withers, including myself, drives the horse forward. She's just in my space. I'm just going to use rhythmic pressure to get her out. So I might have to tap really hard on my horse's rump, and if they kick out, don't worry about it, or tap on their rib cage, or tap on the ground. It depends on how your horse receives that. Some horses just need a little bit of waving to help drive them forward and get them out of being stuck in the mud. And some horses need you to tap, and then if the horse doesn't move, you just keep tapping louder and stronger. It's just irritating. We're not hitting. It's not a one hit ever. It's just a little tap. Can they respond to this soft little tap, little bit of movement? If not, take the movement bigger. Movement inspires movement. And if you need to touch the horse, just be very fair. This rhythmic pressure is very fair. Gives the horse plenty of time to learn, to understand, and get out of the way. So their choice to stay there. So again, if I'm going to lead and my horse's feet get stuck, then I'm going to wait and come back and reach and drive. Look at my left hand pulling her nose up and tap her. I tapped her. And there's my lunge. So we go from a partner walk into a lunging position. And she stopped because she's used to my energy. And I breathed down and I stopped moving. So that helps for stubborn horses that get their feet planted. Now, let's talk a little bit about sending. And I like to work on this either in a stall, like I'm outside the stall and I'm asking the horse to come out, or I'm sending the horse in the stall, or in doorways. Sometimes when we have open space like this, it's a little bit easy. It's too easy for the horse to start running and freaking out, and we don't want to do any of that. We don't want the mind to get rattled or confused or worried or stressed. We want a calm. This is a calm learning frame of mind. And this is the mind you need to teach. If not, the horse is too worried and they're not processing the information. So keep this mindset, it's very important. Actually, I'm going to go stand up against this wall and we'll work on the send this way. So I've already taught my horse to move away from pressure, driving pressure. And if I need to, I'll tap her chest with the whip a couple of times to get her out. So if she doesn't respond to my energy in this rhythm, then I'll tap, 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 no problem. Okay, I am going to send her to my left. So I'm going to shorten this up so I have some control over that nose, and she already understands rhythmic pressure, so she understands this whip. There we go, let the wall stop her. This is really great for horses that pull you all over the place and they often escalate and their adrenaline gets up and they trigger their flight mechanism and then they end up pulling you all over the place. This will shut them down. Wait a couple of minutes. If your horse starts running back and forth, just breathe and let them settle. Let them figure it out. Good girl, Gracie. So let me ask Gracie to back up again. Just go in the bathroom. Good girl. Good girl, Grace. Come on. So I'm going to switch my hands and put the rope in my guiding hand because this hand guides the nose. My right hand now guides the nose. So I'm going to tip the nose to the right and push her shoulder out. I don't want her walking into my space. So here we go again. I'm going to push the shoulder out. Watch that front shoulder. Watch the front legs. I'm going to push them back and out and over. I do not see how she kind of walked into my space. So let your horse meet the end of this. They can walk right into this rhythmic pressure, and if they really start walking into it, you just bring the pressure up. Let them walk into this. They'll figure it out. Oh, you're getting spooked, aren't you? Good girl. They'll figure it out. Let them figure it out. You're all right, baby. Gracie, I really have not spent a lot of time on a lot of this with Gracie. You're all right, baby girl. So again, I'm going to point the nose to my left and ask the shoulder, tap, tap. Get that shoulder out and away from you. She's not allowed to come into your space. Again, I'm creating leadership right here, and I'm telling her that this is what's acceptable and what is not. And this is about safety and earning your horse's respect. This is the way horses treat each other. Nobody walks into another's space unless they're invited. And if they're not invited and they don't ask, they're going to get a hoof in their face or they're going to get kicked. I'm going to ask her to go out, and I'd like her to go slower. I'd like her to slow down. So I'm going to interrupt it and shut her down, and I'd like her to go. There, that shoulder moved out much better. Good girl, Grace. Good girl. Back her up, out and over. There's the send. So back her up, out, and over. Good girl, Grace. And there you go. And that's your send. Thank you. Good girl.